Blood dripped from my palm into the moss. The forest held its breath. Then I felt it, eyes in the darkness, glowing like molten gold. A growl rumbled through the trees, low and ancient. The beast emerged from shadow, massive and terrifying, its fur black as midnight. It circled me, predatory and hypnotic. Then it stopped, stared, and spoke in a voice rough with centuries of silence. "You should not have bled here, little witch." My name is Junia. I am the last herbal witch of the Thornvale Coven, descended from women who whispered to roots and commanded leaves. But our magic has faded. The old ways are dying. I live alone at the forest's edge, gathering herbs, binding wounds, surviving in the space between the human village and the Blackwood, the cursed forest no one dares enter. The village elders warned me since childhood, never cross the river, never enter after dark, never spill blood on Blackwood soil. They say a monster lives in the depths, a creature born of ancient magic and rage, cursed to roam as a beast for eternity. Some claim he was once a man. Others say he was always something darker. I never believed the stories, not fully, until tonight. I had been foraging too deep, too late. A thorn sliced my palm, my blood fell, and now, standing before this creature whose eyes burn with intelligence and hunger, I understand the legends weren't warnings. They were prophecies, and I just awakened something that should have remained forgotten. The beast didn't attack. That terrified me more than fangs would have. He circled closer, massive paws silent on the forest floor. His fur rippled like liquid shadow. And those eyes, gods, those eyes tracked every trembling breath I took. Magic hummed under my skin, my witch blood recognizing something primal in him. "Stay back," I whispered, though my voice shook. He tilted his massive head. "Or what, little witch? You'll use your dying magic against me?" His voice was a rumble that vibrated through my bones. "I can smell your fear. I can hear your heartbeat, and I can taste your blood on the wind." My heartbeat stuttered. "What are you?" I managed to ask, though the words barely formed. "What am I?" He stopped circling, stood before me, towering, impossibly large. "I am the thing your ancestors bound to these woods. I am the curse they could not break. I am Fenric, and you just made a grave mistake." "I didn't mean," I started, but he cut me off with a low growl. "Intention means nothing." He stepped closer, as if I belonged to him. The air between us crackled with something dark and magnetic. "Your blood has touched Blackwood soil. Ancient magic has been invoked. You are marked now, Junia of Thornvale." How did he know my name? His stare burned into me. I know everything that happens in my forest, every footstep, every whispered spell, every drop of blood. His muzzle lowered, inches from my bleeding palm, especially yours. I should have run, should have screamed. Instead, I stood frozen as he inhaled deeply, his eyes fluttering closed, as if my blood was intoxicating. When he opened them again, something had changed. The gold was brighter, hungrier. "You will return tomorrow night," he commanded, his voice rough with an emotion I couldn't name. "To this exact spot, or I will come find you." The words hung in the air like a promise and a threat combined. "Why?" I breathed. his lips pulled back, revealing lethal fangs. Because your blood awakened something in me that has slept for 300 years. And now, little witch, you belong to the Blackwood. He vanished into shadow before I could respond. I didn't return the next night. I wasn't foolish enough to walk into a monster's trap willingly, but he came for me anyway. I woke to find him in my cottage, somehow smaller than before, but still massive, still terrifying. He had squeezed through my doorway, his golden eyes glowing in the darkness of my bedroom. "I told you to return," he growled softly, the sound vibrating through the small space. "And I chose not to." I sat up, clutching my blanket like it could protect me. "This is my home. You can't—" But he interrupted, moving closer with that predatory grace. "I can enter anywhere my magic reaches, and my magic, little witch, is everywhere in this forest." He approached my bed, each step deliberate. "You defied me." "I don't obey monsters," I said, trying to sound braver than I felt. Something flickered in his eyes. Hurt? Anger? "Is that what you think I am?" His voice had dropped, almost vulnerable. "What else would you be?" I challenged. He was silent for a long moment. Then he did something unexpected. He lowered himself to the floor beside my bed, resting his massive head on his paws like a dog seeking comfort. "I was human once," he said quietly, and the loneliness in those words made my chest ache. "Before the curse, before your ancestors bound me to beast form, for crimes I barely remember committing." His voice carried centuries of isolation. "I have not spoken to another soul in 300 years. Not until your blood touched my soil." My anger softened despite myself. "Why my blood?" I asked, needing to understand. "Because you are descended from the witch who cursed me. Your bloodline holds the key." He lifted his head, pinning me with that intense golden stare. One drop awakened my voice. More might break the curse entirely. "You want me to bleed for you?" I asked, incredulously, unable to believe what I was hearing. "I want you to save me." The rawness in his voice stole my breath. "I want to remember what it feels like to be human, to touch with hands instead of claws, to speak without growling, to look at you without seeing fear in your eyes." Magic hummed under my skin, responding to the desperation in his words. "How much blood?" I whispered. "I don't know." He rose, moving to my window with a grace that seemed impossible for his size. "But I won't force you. I've been a monster for too long to become one in truth." He glanced back, and in his eyes I saw not a beast, but a man trapped in a nightmare. "Come to the forest when you're ready. If you choose to help me, I'll be waiting. If not—" He hesitated. "If not, I'll disappear into the Blackwood, and you'll never see me again." Then he leapt through my window and vanished into the night. I sat in the darkness, my palms still healing from the thorn cut, and felt something shift in my chest. Not fear, something far more dangerous. Curiosity, and perhaps compassion. I returned to the Blackwood 3 nights later, a silver knife in my pocket and determination in my heart. Fenric was waiting in the clearing, exactly where I'd first bled. He stood as I approached, hope and wariness battling in his expression. "You came," he said, and I heard the disbelief in his voice. "I did. I pulled out the knife. But I have questions first. He nodded slowly. Ask. I took a breath, needing to know the truth. Why were you cursed? What did you do? His eyes darkened. I loved someone I shouldn't have. A witch from your coven. Her name was Ilara. The name fell from his lips like a prayer. We were forbidden to be together. Human and witch, it was against the laws. We tried to run. They caught us. His voice turned bitter. They killed her, and they made me watch before transforming me into this thing. My heart clenched. The coven did this? I couldn't believe my ancestors would be so cruel. Your ancestor specifically, the High Witch Morgan of Thornvale. He stepped closer, his stare burning. Your blood carries her power, her magic, which means you can undo what she did. I processed this revelation, pieces clicking into place. So when you said, I'm marked, I started, but he continued. I meant that your blood recognized mine. The curse recognizes you as Morgan's heir. He moved closer still, towering over me. But there's more you should know. What? I asked, though part of me feared the answer. The curse wasn't just punishment, it was a binding spell. His voice dropped to barely a whisper. If you break it completely, we become tethered. Your life force will be tied to mine. We'll feel each other's emotions, pain, pleasure, everything. My heartbeat stuttered. Why didn't you tell me before? The question came out accusatory. Because I'm desperate enough that I would have lied. His honesty struck me. But you deserve the truth. If you do this, Junia, you'll be bound to me forever. I cannot let you choose without knowing the cost. I stared at this beast who was really a man, cursed for love and imprisoned for centuries, and I understood something profound. He wasn't asking me to save him. He was asking me to choose him. I raised the knife to my palm. Wait! Fenric started forward. You don't have to. But I cut him off. Yes, I do. And met his golden eyes. No one should suffer for 300 years for the crime of loving someone. I cut deep. Blood welled up, bright red against pale skin. I held my hand over the earth and let it fall. 1 drop, 2, 3. The forest exploded with light. Magic erupted from the ground, swirling around Fenric in ribbons of gold and silver. He threw his head back and roared, a sound of agony and ecstasy combined. His massive form began to shift, bones cracking, fur receding, reshaping. The light became blinding. I shielded my eyes. When it faded, a man stood before me. Tall, broad-shouldered, dark hair falling to his shoulders. And those eyes, still molten gold, still burning with the same intensity. He was beautiful and terrifying and wholly human. He looked down at his hands, flexing fingers he hadn't possessed in centuries. Then he looked at me. Junia, he breathed, and his voice without the growl was devastating. He crossed the distance between us in 2 strides and caught my bleeding hand in both of his. His touch was warm, real. His stare held mine as he raised my palm to his lips and pressed a kiss to the wound. Thank you, he whispered against my skin. My salvation, my witch. Then I felt it, the bond snapping into place like a golden thread between our souls. The connection hit me like lightning. I gasped as his emotions flooded through me, relief, gratitude, and something darker, possessive, consuming. What is this? I breathed, overwhelmed by the intensity. Fenric's eyes darkened as he felt it too. He pulled me closer, his newly human hand cupping my face with a gentleness that contradicted the hunger in his expression. "This," he said softly, "is the binding. You're mine now, Junia, and I am yours, forever." "But what does that mean?" I asked, though I already feared the answer. His thumb traced my cheekbone. His stare burned into mine. "It means, little witch, that breaking my curse was the easy part." He leaned close, his lips nearly touching mine. "Now comes the hard part, surviving what I've become without it."